that something can change as long as we stand for the best cause. We are thinking that if you and I went ahead and joined hands to do good, then the multiplication effect of doing good will change this country. And that will cease the complaints that we normally have. This is not done, we are doing this, people are doing this, people are bad. We may even stop hearing stories of a loss in terms of a generation, that young people do not have any focus. This all begins by having focus in someone doing something. In this life, if you don't wake up to fight evil, then evil will consume you, and that will be so dangerous that at one point you will be the cause of that evil. My name is Innocent. I'm with Pastor Asaph in the studio. He's the Chief Executive Director of Path of Integrity Network. I deputize him. We have a huge and big team of senior people. Our board chair is Moses Changwa, who happens also to be the Executive Director of Busoga Health Forum. We also have Professor Alice Uwere, who is a professor at Busitema University, yes. Then on the team of the board members, we also have a renowned entrepreneur, businessman in this town, Godfrey Mwesigwa. So the team is big. We want to just thank them for volunteering to be part of us and also allowing to be part of Path of Integrity Network. So if you're joining in for the first time, this has actually taken us to around, it's the fourth, fifth talk show now on Smart FM, which we are actually doing. And I know you like it. By the time we get done with the show, definitely you'll have gotten a lot of knowledge about these issues of Path of Integrity Network. So, Pastor, can you greet our listeners?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Innocent. Greetings, dear listeners listening to us out there. We're always delighted that you are part of the show every Monday. Today, 30th of September, we are ending the month, and we are trusting that your lives are doing well wherever you come from. This is Path of Integrity Network. Like Mr. Innocent said it before, we are just aiming at building a trustworthy global community thriving on integrity, transparency, and ethical leadership. And this work we are trying to do, we cannot manage it alone. We are trying to build a network of people who are like-minded, people who believe that we can build a good community, we can build a better Uganda. When you join us, you'll be helping us to fight evil by being good people or by doing good. Some people, like I always say, think that we will not manage because of the corruption that is happening in the country. But you know, as usual and as always, corruption is with everyone, almost. Very few people are living better lives in terms of moral decay. So it is our responsibility, it is your responsibility, and it's my responsibility to make sure that we fight for the good. We started in Ginger, we are CBO, but we're also hoping that very soon we can become an NGO. Our target is to work within the eastern districts in the next 3 years. That's what we have on the strategic plan. So we believe that the message we are sending out, you will become an agent of it. Mind you, last time I was telling you that we robbed some other countries. We robbed, we went to some other people to request for a start to have these radio talk shows. And the Professor Tom has done a very big work to make sure that we get started. But we have started this to try to localize it, to try to encourage our people support these shows so that we continue with the message. Actually, the deal we had with Professor Tom was that he may give us a start.
Yeah.
But then we continue with it.
Definitely, and
Mm.
to me that is one of the best things. If we own these programs,
Yes.
then it will show the public how important the message we are communicating is. You see, sometimes it's good to have donations, to have funding from any part of the world, but it's the best thing to know that as Ugandans, as people who live in this country, this is something so good that can change our country, can change our life. The work we are doing seems to be the ABCD of a teacher, a pastor, and a parent. But we are saying, if that is what the parents are doing, if that is what the pastors are doing the right thing, or if our teachers or pastors or lecturers are doing the right thing, then why are we seeing out there a lot of evil? You know, it seems like we are in an era whereby doing good is a mistake, but doing bad is expected.
Sure.
You understand? That if you went and met someone on the streets, the first thing you'll have to get is the bad response, not the good response. And yet, as humanity, we that believe in the Bible, were created to really work together. There is that thing that God purposed humankind to do, is that to love each other, to enjoy His creation. But it is not the same. It's more dangerous today to live with a human being than living with a dog. You understand? That a dog is much more safer than a human being, because a human being might plan a plot to either destroy you, kill you, and do all sorts of things.
Sure.
It is not only to strangers, but even the people we live with. The people we live with in our houses are not our friends. I've heard stories, and I know our listeners, you equally have heard these stories, whereby families are broken up. A parent dies a few days ago, and then the children the children that have been left behind begin fighting for property of their father, and then kill each other. You know, that's how dangerous it is.
Within a short time.
Within a short time. These are blood relatives. They are dying, or they are killing each other because of wealth.
Yeah.
You know, so it is that bad. That is the extent of evil that has propagated into the hearts of man. Now we are saying, by using such media, Smart FM and other media bodies that we use, we are speaking to the souls that are lost, and say that there are people that are now in a forest, in a desert of thoughts, because their past is not good.
Sure.
They have blood stain on their hands. They have destruction motives in their workplaces and all sorts of things. But for us, we are saying that yes, that happened. If you gave yourself a second chance to get back on the route of doing good, the public, the world will love you more.
Sure.
Because that is what is important. It is important to be a person of value than to be a person who is destructive. Yes. So today, we have a wonderful pillar. This is pillar number 5 that we are going to talk about, and it is commitment. We've been longing to talk about this, but to bring a few recaps on what we discussed previously, we on our very first talk show here on Smart FM, we told you that we are going to look at the 8 pillars of trust. Pastor, remember we did start with the pillar of clarity, and say that if you want to be a person that is trusted, then you must be clear in your communication. In what you do, please, you must be clear. And as long as you're clear, then you will be trusted. If your communication is not clear, nothing will
say
come
you
out.
must be clear in what you think.
Yes.
In what you say.
What you say.
And in what you do.
And what you do. Exactly. it actually rhymes in that same direction.
Yeah.
So clarity was our very first pillar of trust, and we did actually talk a lot about it. Then we looked at the second pillar of that was let me just get back to my notes. Sorry, that was what? Just a minute.
Compassion.
Yes, it is here. Compassion.
Yeah.
We did look at compassion, and we said basically on compassion, you must be a person who is kind.
person. Yeah.
If you want to be trusted, be kind. And that alone will bring a lot of trust.
You think beyond yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then we did look at character as our third pillar of trust. Character was something we discussed in depth and say that if you have a good character, then definitely, trust me, many people will trust you.
Exactly.
With a good character, you will actually attract so many people close to you.
Yeah.
And that character speaks louder than anything.
Sure.
Because your character attracts whoever is seeing you. People will identify in your community because they have seen you doing things consistently that are good. And then we'll mention that that person is one person you should trust.
Sure.
He has a good character. Then we did also, this was the one that we looked at last week, competence. We did say that competence is something that you have as a skill, you're trained in it, you have experience in it, and when you're a competent person, whatever you do does not cast any doubt.
It's not questionable.
Not questionable. They will trust you for your competence.
Sure.
And competent people who are in right positions of leadership or right positions of work always are trusted for the work that they do. So today we are looking at the fifth pillar, which is commitment. Commitment.
Sure.
When I came in the studio, you started by saying that that is commitment.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think let's start from there, Pastor.
Yeah, commitment is simply a promise or a pledge.
Yes.
Or obligation to devote oneself to a particular cause of action.
Yes.
Person or cause. So where it simply means where you pledge to do something
and fulfill the pledge.
Or fulfill the promise.
Yeah.
We've seen commitments in different aspects of life.
Yeah.
Actually, I was looking at it beginning with people who get married to each other, who go to the church and make vows. Yeah, they make vows to stay with one another.
No matter what comes in
Yeah,
their
they
marriage.
even mention in death, in sickness. And from nowhere, people break these commitments.
Yeah, they do.
They break these promises.
Yeah.
Why? Because commitment doesn't just come. Commitment also, we can say, builds over time.
Yeah.
I don't know. But one thing I can say that somebody who is committed to their promises, or someone who is committed to his or her promise, will always be a trusted person. I have seen people who go to borrow money from
money lenders, banks,
and
and other financial institutions.
Yeah. If you are someone who borrows and pays back, you become a trusted person. And the one who lends you keeps doing that.
Do you know that, Pastor, maybe to interject a bit?
Yes.
Banks are always free and very okay with second, third, or fourth lender borrowers.
Yes.
As compared to the first loan that a client is actually processing in a bank. To you listeners that have tried to go and borrow loans from banks, you had a difficult moment to convince the loan officer that you will pay back the money. If it was your first loan that you actually got from that bank.
Sure.
And because the bank has one thing, they are always skeptical. When one person is a first-time borrower, they will not believe that whatever is saying is true. No matter the level of security that you bring, whether it's a mortgage, whether what, they are always fearful because they don't have your track record of borrowing. They don't know the person.
Have no basis of any
nothing. Yeah. So sometimes they even rely on records of other banks. You know what they call financial cards?
Yes.
Those help them to get to know how has this person's record of borrowing been in, for example, a different bank which is not ours. So they get to know about your history, your background of borrowing. such that they get to understand, is he a committed person that pays back? When he borrows the money, does he pay back the money?
Yeah.
Or is the kind that is going to actually run away with our money? So basically, when you look at commitment, when you set yourself to do something and you've already accepted in your mind, you've decided to do something, whether it be something to do with going for marriage, you've picked on this girl, and this is your partner that you want to move out with for the rest of your life, that is a commitment.
Sure.
Don't look at the function, how it will look like. The whole thing is about you two people.
Some other people will say that, you know, sometimes circumstances happen and they may force us to change our commitment. But in case that happens, I would advise that someone becomes clear. You make a clear communication. That maybe I've not been able because of ABCD, but I would love to commit myself to what I said at first.
Yeah.
So if you come up and speak to someone that, no, I'm no longer making it, please, I ask you to do some adjustments for me. These people will understand, and they will still keep your trust.
Sometimes, Pastor, you know it, that these commitments are not genuine. The whole thing begins with, what are you committed? What are you committing yourself into? Because if you're genuinely committing yourself on something that you've decided to do, then you must stick to it. You know, it's so disappointing for someone, or to someone that you've actually promised that I will do this, and then all of a sudden you break the promise.
And you don't even communicate.
You don't communicate. It really it makes someone not to trust you, because they will get to know that, you know, that is pastor. That is his way of life.
That's his
how,
lifestyle.
That is how he
He's
commits
known for
himself. So our good listeners that are tuned in, if you get to commit yourself on doing anything, please, first of all, before you promise to do that, ask yourself, do you have the time, number one, to do what you're committing yourself into? Number two, do you think and do you feel whatever you're committing yourself to is of importance to you? If not only to you, do you want to do charity that you have others also partake of your benefit?
I'm wondering whether there are instances where we commit ourselves to please other people.
There are many.
Yeah.
Those are the majority. Some commitments are just to show off that, you know, someone has also said something. That someone has said something that in real terms they are not meaning it.
I remember many times when you go for maybe a wedding meeting,
yes,
and you fear to be ashamed, and people are saying, I'm
pledging 1 million, I'm pledging 200,000. Then you just look at yourself in your tiny office and say, I'm also pledging 500.
When you know,
yes,
you
not
pay the money.
We're not pay the money.
Sure.
So, dear listeners, commitment actually moves with doing the promise, making sure that you complete. In David Hosaga's book, he talks about Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
He's a renowned civil rights activist in the U.S. Who actually did civil rights movement and activism for quite a long time. Remember the years of 1955 up to when he was assassinated in 1968. Martin Luther King Jr. was so much committed about this issue of civil rights. Why? Because he first of all saw the injustice that was being placed on the blacks, that is number one, the women, number two. And he said, no, I think all humanity should be the same.
Should be equal.
Without differentiating white or colored or black, we are all the same because we actually flow the same blood. So his commitment was to preach and push the message of equality. Now, whoever saw, because the period that he spent doing this was not that a long period. Because remember, 1955 to 1968, where he had actually communicated the message. But look at the benefit of commitment. Martin Luther King Jr. is assassinated in 1968 on the same commitment of equal rights.
Yes.
What is in the US today is
picked up
out
from-
of his effort. You understand? So out of his effort of commitment, he's died for something. And that alone pushed the message louder.
Made others to learn from.
Exactly. Because if you're a committed person, others will understand your message. And it all begins with one person. Pastor, if you're a committed person on seeing that you do right, my children must actually, before going to sleep, together we should sit in the living room or get down and bow ourselves down to pray. The moment you do that, and these kids are seeing it, something that is done consistently, they will know that daddy, before going to sleep, always gave us time to speak to God.
Amen.
And the moment these children learn that from their father, that becomes a commitment of their entire life.
It becomes a culture.
It is a culture. Because they know whether daddy died when these kids were young, they already picked something from them. So be committed on what you do. And always commitment should be on the right thing. Do the right thing and be committed to it. You'll see the difference.
You said about being committed,
Yes.
and I remembered something. You know, we need always to plan around our commitments.
Yes.
Don't just wake up to commit yourself to
No.
something
Think about it
if you are
first.
not sure whether you will fulfill your promise.
Exactly.
I remember the first time I met you in office at the radio station. I met you with many stickers on
On the wall.
on the wall. I remember asking you, what is all this for?
Yes.
Then you said, no, sometimes I forget
Exactly.
the appointments I make with people. So I decided to start writing them down,
And stick them on the wall.
stick them on the wall
Yes.
to help me remember whom I made a commitment to.
To.
That is a very good culture.
Yes.
It can help you not forget.
Yeah.
It can help you to stick on your commitment.
Exactly.
And what you will not be able to do, you have
Tell
to-
someone. It's better you tell him or her, I will not manage this time. All right, we are getting to a short commercial break. Back, and we want to thank you for being tuned in. Those that are still tuned in, you're doing great. This is Pathway for Integrity Network. I already told you that we shall need more of your interaction, especially if you have anything to say about this topic on commitment, which we are discussing this evening. Are you a committed person? Are you the kind that promises and delivers? Are you the kind that promises and actually doesn't deliver? Just rate yourself by telling us exactly what you are. As Pathway for Integrity Network, we think that we should be more people that are committed to exactly what we do. If you're a student and you decide to say, I have a time when I do discussion, there's a time when I actually read my books. Now that the timetable for Senior 4 is out today, how are you going to read? And you commit yourself to doing that. Or you're the kind that when you start on something, you have so many things that will disrupt you. You find yourself being off. You know, Pastor, there is that kind of people that they want to do something, then immediately they think about it, they leave this, and then go for another. You know, we are in this age of social media. Social media is good because it's a marketing tool, but also if you don't use it with a lot of care, then there are so many things that keep popping up. You'll find a lot of distractors, things that will push you away from what you had planned to do.
You know, Mr. Innocent, people should have a target in life. People should work on visions,
Yeah.
at least develop a vision of your life,
Yeah.
so that each day is planned for, or each month, each week. People who have a vision will never waste time.
Exactly.
Actually, they set their plans, they set their goals.
And even state the strategies on
Yes,
how they're going to
yeah.
meet those visions. Yeah.
So if you are such a person, it is very hard for you to waste time.
Yes.
Because you realize that throughout the day, you have things to do in each particular hour.
Yeah.
there's no time to waste. So for me, I say that commitment will also come with what you want to achieve in life. That's why we said that things which you are not able to do, please don't commit yourself. Whether there are people, don't fear to disappoint people.
Yeah.
If you will not be committed to them.
Exactly.
Better tell them the truth, and the truth will set you free.
And no one should deceive you that by promising big and you don't deliver, the applauses, the claps that you get in church and maybe wedding meetings will definitely make any sense. Because people are clapping, hoping that you're going to fulfill. If you stand in church and say, "Church, I pledged 100,000," and for sure, if you don't bring that money, you remain on the list of people who pledge and don't fulfill. The lady who gave in 10,000 shillings as her cash contribution or her pledge for that church activity or that village activity will always be respected, because they will know she gave in little, but she did bring what she promised. Being a person who is trusted is not measured by how much you give.
Yes.
Please, it is not how much you give. It is, have you committed yourself and fulfilled?
Actually,
That's
the
what
Bible
makes,
says that if you pledge for something, run. Hurry to go and fulfill your pledge.
That is the Bible.
Yeah.
So there is no need to say that, you see, I had all good intentions of making sure I fulfilled the pledge. But they also know money has not worked. We no longer get money. No, why did you pledge in the first instance? Why did you pledge what you can't fulfill? By the way, you better do this. You under promise and over deliver.
Sure.
In life, use that as your strategy.
Yeah.
If you go in a meeting and you find that people are pledging in millions, in tens of thousands, in so many things, please don't be ashamed to under promise.
Or not to promise.
Or not to promise. Do two things. If you can't get the money, or you actually have a tight budget and you cannot get that money, or from your small resources you can actually put away the 10,000 or 20,000, please pledge that and bring it. Or if you find that the 10,000 that you had pledged, all of a sudden God blessed you and you have more, go take the 10,000, but also continuously tell them that, but along the way, I got the other 10. Let's make it 20.
Sure.
Whether you didn't pledge it, they will appreciate. They will actually know you as a person who actually fulfills whatever that you pledge. And to me, that is what makes sense. Whatever you do, and in life, I think this is basically a human weakness. People love seeing others talk good about them. And one of such things that attracts applauses is speaking what ears love to hear. Okay? The moment you are the kind of person that would love to always be appreciated before you put something into action, you're missing out a point. Please, you're missing out a point. As someone who knows life and how life has been, individuals or human beings that have been successful always don't want to show off. They don't show off. They are always doing so much, but you'll never know the much they are doing. Be the kind of person.
And by Mr. Innocent, we need to start with our homes.
Exactly.
Being committed to our wives and also the children.
Yes.
These small things we do to our partners and the children, they keep watch over them.
Yeah.
I remember a time where I used to keep promising my kids, and I don't fulfill. Then one day my daughter told me that, but Dad, you are lying today. You are not going to bring me the soda. You say that you. So these days I'm very careful.
Yes.
If I'm not going to bring the soda, I tell them I'm not going to buy. I don't have money. And then they tell you, are you going to get money tomorrow? And I say, yes. Okay. then Dad, you buy for me tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I commit myself when I know that I'll buy it tomorrow.
Yeah.
If I'll not buy tomorrow, still I will tell them I'm still looking for money.
For the money.
I don't have money now. Many families are broken up
Yeah.
because of this issue of commitment. You are telling your wife something different, but in your heart
You know
to do
you're going to do something different.
different. And so this brings about misunderstandings,
Exactly.
and people end up also taking different directions. So we are saying that let's be committed to what we can only do. What you can't do, be open to someone. Be open to your children, be open to your friends, be open to your wife. Be open to your bosses.
I personally share with the listeners my own experience. From the time I began working early morning at my workplace, I arrive at home around 6 or 5:30 or 6, depending on. I leave work early, of course, at around 5. I close my office at 5, and then get to go and ferry kids if it's a school day, and go with them at home. By the time I get home, it is either 6:30, and that is me. The day I'm not going to be there by that time, I have to call. Say, okay, honey, I will not be at home by this time because I've been caught up somewhere. There's something that has caught me up. Maybe it's an extra work or something. I've sent a driver to pick the kids and things like that. Why do I do that? Because I know there are questions that will answer the moment I don't call. I'm not doing it that I'm a timid person, but I committed myself to.
You want to be clear to your partner.
I want to be clear. I don't want to be a kind that will dodge around and begin deceiving here and there. If you have a culture of doing something consistently and you're committed on doing it, then you'll avoid problems befalling your relationship.
So you win your trust with 3 pillars:
Consistency,
clarity,
and commitment. And the moment these 3 are moving in tandem, you are going to be okay with the relationship. You see, certain things that make us.
But you also added the communication, by the way.
Yes, even communication. Things that make us astray or stray from our normal good relationships that we know are tending to become I know it all. I'm the boss. Who will ask me? I'm the man in this family.
Yes.
Me, I'm already 40 years. Why should I communicate my going back home? I'm not a kid. It is true you're not a kid, sir, but you're creating a vacuum in that family. And that vacuum is going to haunt you, because don't take for granted those people that are around you. The wife, your wife that is around you, has something that she adds on to your life. The moment it departs, immediately you're going to be disorganized. I normally tell people that what creates job insecurity is none other than family instability. You understand?
Yeah.
That is what creates job insecurity. The moment there is an instability in the family, then the job is also not secure.
And by the way, our mistakes are forgiven, but they are not forgotten.
They are not definitely forgotten.
Yeah, somebody will remember, say, last time I forgave him,
but this time I won't.
And he has done the same
thing.
So this man is ever like that.
Our listeners, we are getting back for a commercial break, but please continue sending us the WhatsApp messages. I'm going to come back and read them on 0741 43 7905, 0741 43 7905. Share with us your experience on this topic of commitment. I know it's such an exciting topic that everyone would love to contribute something. We will be glad to hear from you. Just write your message on 0741 43 7905. That's our WhatsApp number. We are getting right back after this short commercial break. Okay, we are now going to take our call-ins. Please, if you wish to have something said on our topic of commitment, feel free to call in. This is the number 0752 890 890, 0752 890 890. you can call us and tell us how committed you are. This topic is a daily living thing. If you are a committed person, people will see your commitment. If you're not, definitely they won't see that. Remember, you that has tuned in, just tuned in, we are in the topic, we are actually talking about commitment. And we are Pathway for Integrity Network, an organization here in Jinja City that strives to see that this community we live in is much better than we definitely found it. Okay, so I'm going to, I think, pick the calls. 0752 890 890. Please feel free to call us and contribute on the topic. Okay, let's see. Hello, Smart FM. Hello. Oh, we've lost that one. Okay, maybe we can get a second caller. Hello. Hello, Smart FM. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, good evening. Ooh, there could be something. Anyway, let's try out and see whether we can get someone this evening to talk to us. Hello, Smart FM. Yes, please. Good evening to you. How are you, sir? Great, but you're low. I don't know why. Yes. You're welcome. Okay, we've lost him. Maybe it's something with our call-ins today. But let's try out and see whether we can get someone. Hello, Smart FM. Hello. Yes, please. Good evening to you, sir. How are you?
Not bad, I'm fine.
Yes, who is this calling in?
This is Innocent calling from Namresa.
Hey, my namesake Innocent. I'm glad to hear from you.
But just tuning to the radio station and thank you for the good presentation.
You're welcome, Innocent.
The program got it midway.
Oh, you got it midway. But we are talking about commitment as our topic today.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Innocent. Great people of Namlesa. Hello.
Hello,
Yes, boss.
Mr. Panyoli.
How are you, boss?
I'm okay.
Yes.
This is Julia calling from Motima.
Yes, Julius, you're in Musima. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Are you a committed man?
Yeah, I'm a committed man, but I would like just to thank you so much for the topic.
You're welcome.
May God bless you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. He's calling in from Namlesa. That is where? Namlesa? Musima. Musima is that side. Okay. Hello. Yes, please. Okay. Someone say hello. Hello, Smart FM. Oh, sorry. Our colleague Joseph, you're in Mbiko. Yes, I'm glad to hear from you, Joseph. Can you? Yes, please. Okay. Wow, you're welcome.
Because that is what one of the work with my life.
Okay. Committed, yeah.
And so, really, I like the program so much. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you too. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for visiting the community.
You're welcome. Okay, so you've had a testimony there. Some committed man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, we are still having some minutes to wind up the show, but you can call in and take the opportunity to discuss with us. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Anyobe.
Yes, please.
I'm glad to hear from you.
I'm also glad to hear from you. Who is this that I'm talking to?
This is Pastor Namyondo Deji.
Yes, Pastor Namuyonjo.
The topic you are talking about is so good and it is quite educative.
Yes, yes, yes.
I encourage you, please, to continue with such topics.
Wow, that is encouraging.
God bless you.
Amen, Pastor. God bless you too. Wow, wow, wow.
Amen.
This is something that people want to hear. Pastors, we are hearing different people from all walks of life enjoying the topic of commitment. Please, let's not only enjoy listening, but we should practice, because that is going to make impact. Remember, we said we believe that however small we've started this organization, as long as you can believe in what we are saying and start doing it, trust me, we shall change our country. Yes, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir.
Is this integrated program on radio?
Exactly. Exactly.
Always service is calling from Wigan.
Yes, Isabelle, I'm so glad to hear from you.
Thank you for today's topic. The topic is commitment.
Exactly.
Commitment moves with another word called devotion.
Yes, yes, yes.
Devotion and commitment means a person is first of all willing to sacrifice his own extra time and resources, which may not be so easy for today's generation.
Exactly.
Somebody doing that extra time from the work he was given is difficult. Somebody giving him money and the wish to say, I let it go, let me leave it for that. Or the woman people grabbing money, eating government funds, they are not willing to let it go. They are not satisfied within themselves.
Yeah.
It is the reason they call them pigs. They call them pigs.
Yes. Yes.
So, like I said the other time, that discussion, the road we are taking is very terrible and very difficult.
Exactly.
You convinced me that we shall be there.
Thank you, Igan. Paul, thank you so much. Paul, it is always interesting to get your comments. They are so rich, you know. You are such a good and wonderful person. I want to send out shouts to my teacher, Mr. Ngom Godfrey, GNGSS, deputy head teacher, and all teachers of GNGSS that are tuned in, my colleagues that I taught with. Thank you so much for keeping it tight and always pushing the agenda of educating our sons and daughters. Pastor,
Yes.
that's how we are ending today. Could you please have your conclusive statements and we leave this?
No, I loved what Paul concluded with. A sacrifice for an extra time and resource.
Yes.
Actually, when you sacrifice time and resource, this is what exactly we are talking about. We are here because we have sacrificed our time.
Yeah.
But also there is resource. Some people are putting money so
For
that
us to be on radio.
we come on radio.
Yeah.
And these people are not Ugandans.
Yeah.
But what have we done as Ugandans? If this is good for us,
Yeah.
then we need also to wake up in action
This.
and support this work
Exactly.
to make sure that we continue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, our listeners, for being tuned in. Next Monday, we yet going to be here for another interesting topic. Path of Integrity. We are saying good night.